So the lighting's a little poor, but I brought the kids here to the park, and I wanted to talk to y'all about the magus, which is the magi. If you look up the word wise men, like the wise men who came to see the young child Jesus and offer their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, it's the word magus. And those were the, if you read the definition there as given by sorry, I'm trying to think of the name. As given by Thayer, he says that that is the Chaldean magician. So, and they saw the star, and that told them they needed to come over there. I think it's interesting that the Chaldean magicians saw a star, and the shepherds saw an angel. So I just thought that was interesting because sometimes there's kind of connection there. Like in Revelations, it says that the stars were the seven stars or the seven angels over the seven churches. So maybe you can see if there's anything connected there. And so what it goes on to talk about is, or so what I'm talking about is how the governor of one of the places in Acts actually has a magician working for him, or one of the wise men, the magi, right? And I'll try to do more to explain, to show you these things, and if you're interested, I'm sure you'll go look them up. But what it goes on to say is, or sorry, what I'm talking about is how the Chaldean magicians, that like the Pharaoh had these magicians working for him, and then you find that in Babylon they had the magicians working for them. So whenever you go and you look at who took over, so Persia conquered Babylon, Greece conquered Persia, and Roman conquered Greece, and the Roman papacy took over Rome and just inherited all that polytheism, and that's what Roman Catholics are, is polytheists, and they just give their gods Christians names. So what I wanted to explain is how they were the ones who were trying to figure out how to turn everything into a profit, or how could they orchestrate things for the king? How can they keep the king in charge? And sometimes maybe even murder him and put someone else in charge, right? So in Phoenicia and Tyre, there's the same thing. It's called Sidon, or Phoenicia, or Tyre. It's called a few things. So that was the place that that's where the false system crept into Israel from, through Jezebel, and then she had a daughter named Athaliah, and that's how the false fire and tree system got into Israel, which they were already involved with that kind of stuff back in Judges. And so my point here is just talking about how that the magus, or the magi, the Chaldean magicians, they would have just been passed down from Babylon to Persia to Greece to Rome, and then to the Roman papacy to the present day. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, and it's just picking everything up. And all of those things from the past, Moses, Adam and Eve, the garden, the deluge, and everything actually applies to today. And that's the same thing with their magic spells and their enchantments and their technology, like Circe. And so we find the woman who has the golden cup, and Circe was the one with the golden cup, right? And we find these things today. We see how people have just developed technology. So you find that they take oil derivatives and make plastic, and then they take copper and they make wire, and then they take electricity and they move the electrons across the protons and the neutrons, because that's where the electrons are, right? So that's actually what actually tries to slow down the electrons. You got to keep them moving in spite of them trying to hang on to the neutrons and the protons, right? So anyways, they take, and then granite is, they superheat and form silicon conductors. And now, today, since they discovered DNA, they're trying to learn how to manipulate DNA, because DNA does things to matter that's far more sophisticated than anything any of these scientists, which are the present-day Chaldean magicians who work to ensure that Caesar, Pharaoh, the president stays in charge, right? So they're trying to take technology and mix it with human embryos, or like cloning and things like that. And I'm sure they're doing that somewhere. Like, if it's not legal in the United States, that doesn't mean that some people from the United States, scientists, didn't go somewhere else to be able to do it, right? So it's kind of like the thing on Star Trek where it says that all will become part of the Borg. And we're seeing that happening now with these like machine arms or machine legs, and just robot machines that the army are experimenting with, and the robot dogs. But the thing is we're not really seeing them linking like the cloning and the research they're doing on stem cells and embryos to the technology, so far as I know. But there's probably is some stuff out there that people know about that they're doing. So if you know something about that, or you know a little bit more about that, I'd like to stay informed. So maybe the kind of stuff they're doing with nanotechnology and putting it in humans, or nanotechnology that they're engrafting with the nanotechnology in human cells and DNA, or animal cells and DNA. Everything that's lived is made out of 4 things, right? A, T, G, and C, or some combination of those. So, and all matter is made out of, so far as we know, protons, neutrons, and electrons. So, or some form of energy released from that, right? So, that whole E equals MC squared kind of thing, I don't really know a whole lot about it, but I know it's in that same sphere. So, all right, well, I'm gonna get back to taking care of the family and the kids at the park. So if you find this interesting, let me know. If not, let me know too. And I hope you this can help you develop your walk with the Lord and understanding a little bit about where we're at. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Bye. Y'all have a good one.